Warning! This video is going to be spoiler heavy. If you don't want the episode Let's Go Gutsy Red Riot spoiled for you, better switch this video off now. Okay, so today we're reviewing Let's Go Gutsy Red Riot. I hate that title. I hate it so much. I've knackered up that title so many times it's beyond counting right now. But you know what? Whatever. I'm sure there's other titles, character names and words I'm going to make a hash of during this review. So whatever, I'll probably just make a fool of myself in a different way. As for the episode itself, I really enjoyed it. It was a fun, exciting episode with all the high-octane heroics I've come to expect from this show. I really like the fight sequences with this program in general. It always feels as though anything could happen within it. It's never just a simple case of whoever's got the bigger power level wins. It's never anything like that. It always feels as though there's a little bit more give and take, and you can have characters who are far weaker defeat characters who are far stronger by using their wits, their intelligence, and by using the finer, quirkier details of their quirk. I really like that, and it means that all the fights themselves have higher stakes in them than they may necessarily would doing other programs, you know, not to name any names there. However, with an episode like this, yeah, it was as high as the stakes may have been. They were never terribly that high because, let's be honest, they're not going to do anything grave or horrible with Kirishima with this episode. It is the Kirishima-focused episode. Hooray, Kirishima fans! Your favourite character has an episode almost entirely to himself. Great, good, fantastic. And as much as I like that character and as much as I like this episode, I kind of wanted it to tie into the main plot a little bit more. Sure, they're kind of hinting at things here and there, but I wanted something a little bit more explicit, you know. I do appreciate the fact that this is a lighter, brighter, funner, more heroic episode, but at the same time I wanted something a little bit grittier, a little bit heavier, not deep, dark, monochrome, grey heavy, but at least something that kind of makes us go, he just crossed paths with that person, or that thing means that. We don't really get that. We kind of get hints of it, but you know what, whatever, I'm getting into a distraction. One of the things I disliked about this episode, though, is kind of on the same kind of topic in a similar kind of way to the thing I just mentioned. Like, this is an episode that's focused around Kirishima, but is also focused almost entirely around the one singular fight sequence. And as great as it is, the problem is that it's a fast-paced fight sequence in a short episode, which only makes the episode itself feel even shorter. So when the episode finishes, I'm not sat there like, oh boy, I can't wait to see what happens next week. I'm sat there thinking to myself, wait, what, is that it? Is that it? Do my internet cut out or something? Or is that really just it? Like, it doesn't take away from the overall quality of the episode itself, but I can't help but sit here and think to myself, I didn't get my money's worth out of it. Yeah, sure, the pacing kind of makes it feel like this is an episode of blink and you'll miss it, but still, it's still a damn fine episode for what it is. And even though it's an episode which is almost exclusively focused around the one character, we still see enough of our ensemble cast to actually make it feel as though they actually have an impact on the story itself, as well as developing their characters more. I love that little bit in the common area where they're discussing the quirks and Kirishima's there like, yeah, I'm not really as awesome as you guy, and Bakugo gives that really great speech to fire him up and inspire him, because you got the little bit with Denki saying, oh, well, I'm not going to charge your phone anymore. You know, that little slice of life stuff I really like from this show. Makes the characters feel fleshed out and actually feel like, you know, real people, which for a lot of other superhero shows often ends up feeling like it isn't the case. If I'm going to be honest with you, I really could have done without the voiceover narration by Midoriya towards the end of the episode. It really doesn't feel like it adds anything of substance to the episode itself. I mean, technically, yeah, it is his show in a way, but it feels less like this is an insightful, meaningful bit of dialogue, or more like a, hey, don't worry kids, I'm still in this show, I haven't been kicked out of my own program, see, here I am, buy the toys, buy the toys. It doesn't really feel as though it actually makes something of the story itself. It kind of feels as though it's trying to drag us back down to the dark reality that is the series, which, yeah, I can understand that, but I can kind of at the same time feel to myself, yeah, this is supposed to be a lighter, a brighter episode. Can't we just have it be a lighter, brighter episode, please? Oh, and another thing about stuff that may or may not really have added much to the episode itself, really. The whole meeting between Tomuruma, or whatever the name is, and Overhaul, I appreciate it. I like the fact that we're seeing them starting to work together now, or at least hinting that they're going to start to work together now, or that one might betray the other. I like that. I can go in for that, but yeah, I really think this is a whole sequence that should probably have come towards the end of last week's episode rather than at the start of this one, because it feels as though it takes away too much from what's going on. Like, when we actually see them having their meeting, it's intercut with scenes of Fat Gum and the rest of them taking down that group of villains, and whilst I get what they're hinting at, they're supposed to be hinting that the little dart thing that one villain shot at Sun Eater is supposed to be the same one that they have with Overhaul and his gang. The way that it's edited together, it takes the severity of that away from it. Them cutting towards the meeting takes away from the fight sequences, and the fight sequences end up taking away from the meeting themselves. I feel that you probably could have just done these two sequences separately. Like, start off the sequence with just the meeting of the villains, then you end up having all the stuff with the superhero stuffs, and then the canny-eyed amongst us can turn around and say, oh wait, that's the thing that they were talking about, oh my god, they're working together and now there's a threat! Instead, they don't. They do it both at the same time. I would have much preferred the foreshadowing of the meeting and the little bullet stuff rather than doing it at the same time. The editing of it was, whilst not terrible, it certainly was eccentric in a way which brings back bad memories of my days studying and practicing theatre. But that's a story for a whole other time. But anyway, that's enough from me for now. Let us get into the overview, my overall thoughts of the episode itself, and anything else that needs to be discussed. Okay, so my overall feelings of the episode as a whole, and as a whole I really enjoyed it, apart from a few little issues here and there. The fact that it felt way too fast-paced for its own good, which only made the episode feel a lot shorter than it actually was. The stuff with the villains not feeling properly integrated into the main story, and as well as the stuff with Midoriya towards the end of this episode, not really feeling as though it contributes maybe as much to the story as it really should do. Though still, I really did enjoy the fight sequences in this episode. I really enjoyed having the episode focused around Kirishima in a way which actually made it feel like he's more of a developed character now than we've had before, as well as actually getting to see more of our ensemble cast doing stuff, or at least hinting at them doing other things, rather than it being a background gag or just something that we're seemingly had pushed to one side because we've got the bigger, darker, more depressing things being taken up with the main storyline. Next week's episode looks like we're going back to having another dark and depressing one, and it seems that my theory that the odd-numbered episodes are going to be the lighter ones and the even-number episodes are going to be the darker ones seems to be holding up. Of course, I'm looking at this as being episode 5 rather than episode 60-something, because, you know, I'm looking at seasons rather than a singular continuous thing, but, you know, that's just the way I'm looking at it. What about you, dear viewer? What did you think about this week's episode of My Hero Academia? Did you love it? Did you hate it? Let me know in the comment section down below. On YouTube, ideally. Yes, I'm getting a bit waffly and distracted because my batteries are running low. I'm feeling as though I really need to get some lunch. So I'll just say to you, thank you for watching. Be sure to like, share, subscribe, click the bell and all the YouTubey stuff that YouTube wants you to do, especially in these days where YouTube looks increasingly scary. Thank you for watching. Let me know what you thought of the episode down below, and see you next time. Goodbye!